Hello everyone, I'm the Shades, and it's time for today's induction into the Internet Hall of Fame. Well, folks, this is it. Honestly, I never thought this day would come, especially not so soon. But it's now time to honor the biggest inductee into the Internet Hall of Fame to date. This simple filmographer started out with nothing more than a gag. But that gag is now the inspiration for many internet reviewers across the reviewerverse. He may not be the first, but whenever you think of online critics, you're probably thinking of this guy. So let's have a look at today's inductee into the Internet Hall of Fame. James Rolfe, otherwise known as the Angry VideoGame Nerd. James Rolfe loves making movies. He's been doing it his whole life. But even he never expected a simple joke video to be his claim to fame. In 2004, just for shits and giggles, he made 2 reviews of the video games Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for the NES. 2 years later, he was urged by friends to post them on YouTube, and the rest is history. After a few videos, he joined forces with ScrewAttack.com and became one of their first official partners. He later joined them in their contract with GameTrailers.com, and since then, his reviews have exploded. He still does other work as well, such as movie reviews with Spike TV, board game reviews with Board James, random skits, and movies of his own. This all makes his work extensive and worthwhile. It's time to honor an internet legend, as James Rolfe has practically helped to create, much less qualified to be inducted into, the Internet Hall of Fame.
And now, please welcome the Angry Nerd himself, James Rolfe. James, how are we doing today?
Hey, how you doing?
All right. First off, how did you get started with this semi-legendary persona of yours?
Oh, the persona started in the second video, I would say. Well, I mean, the characterization was in the first video with the voiceover, but the second video was the first time I showed the nerd character on screen, and I guess I was just trying to, be a nerd and just give people something they haven't seen. But the funny thing is, like, people didn't know if it was real or not, if it was acting. And the idea at first was really to fool people into thinking that this was some crazy guy who's really this upset over some game that was made 20 years ago. And I just wanted people to look at it and say, what's this guy's problem? And then it sort of took off, from there.
Understandable. Now, shortly after this, it wasn't long before you got picked up by ScrewAttack.com, and then later you got a contract with GameTrailers.com, part of the MTV network. Did you honestly ever expect that this series would explode to this level?
Not really. I mean, it filled a niche. It started as a side project. I didn't know it would become my main focus for a while, but it's been good.
Definitely. Now, it's been a very big surprise. It's very entertaining, and a lot of us have enjoyed that. But, you're more than just an angry video game nerd. There's a lot more to you. You're a talented filmmaker and pretty much a jack of all trades. You can do pretty much any type of film. What is it about doing this kind of work that makes it enjoyable for you? What is it that works for you?
It was just, like I said, it was like a side project when it started. The Nerd was just something I did one day when I was bored, but I've been working on, films, and I was doing short films, and I've been getting ready to do a feature-length film, and I guess the Nerd sort of postponed a lot of that, but it's actually helped at the same time. Even though it's taking longer for me to get my other stuff done, it's also gaining a following, and I'm able to interject things I love into the nerd videos and keep it fresh for me and for everybody else. And it's just fun to be able to, communicate through audio and visual, stuff through the combination of moving pictures and sound, and that's just my art form. Even though I've done lots of other stuff like drawing comics or whatever, but making videos I think is the best. for me.
I would agree with you 100% on that one, coming from my own perspective. But
Yeah.
you know, one of these projects you've done, you just recently started your own another show of yours called Board James, where you review old and new board games and stuff like that. Where did this idea come about?
I think one part of it, I guess, was like just that I didn't see anybody else doing board games. I was like, oh, wait a minute, here's a whole new idea that's ripe to do this. And I think it was great calling it Board James and not like Angry VideoGame Nerd or something, because then it would restrict me into making it like angry. Because some people are like, oh, well, that video wasn't angry enough or whatever. But if I do Board James, it's kind of like I could just take it any way I want.
This is very true. Getting back to the nerd for a quick moment, you do two different types. You know, I've kind of noticed that, especially recently, you kind of diverted your reviews into two different types. Either you have like the more informative look at the history of the game, or like the cult series, or you have like just full-on skits, which is just basically you going off the wall in accordance to whatever game you're kind of reviewing. You know, what makes you decide what makes you decide what version or what kind of review you want to do for that particular game?
I'm not sure really. It just depends on the game. Like whatever the game inspires me to do with it is what I do. And then there's like the ones that are like sort of a history lesson of like an obscure game console or something. And then there's the ones that are just like a really in-depth critique of a certain game. And then there's ones where, you know, there's all different kinds, so I got to keep it different, or else it gets stale.
Yeah, that definitely would make it in trouble in the future. But you know, you definitely have kept up with it. Your latest episodes have certainly been interesting. I've definitely been enjoying them now. And this isn't exactly a one-man show. You know, it's not just all you. You have some friends to help. You have artist Mike Matei, who does your title cards and has done several of your characters, and you also have singer Kyle Justin, who does your theme song and has helped out in a couple, like the Battletoads video and the Spider-Man video.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that helps you out with these projects? Like, how many people are involved?
Sometimes I have an old high school buddy, Kevin Finn, who's been in a couple of them so far. Ooh. He's gonna be in one.
Ooh.
Yeah. But very soon. He was the Ninja Gaiden episode also. I have a web guy named Brian who helps with the website. He does all the technical stuff, and like basically I have people act as like bullshit filters to just filter out the bullshit so I can focus on the videos. So I am fortunate I have people who are really good to help with that kind of stuff.
It's very good in a project like this. You definitely want to make sure you have as much help as you can, because too much on one person can just kill you.
Yeah.
But it's been giving you a lot of accomplishments, and one of them is recently you've been asked to do a small part in a remake of Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space. How did that come about?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. They're making a remake of Plan 9 from Outer Space. They're taking a serious approach. They're trying to make it the way Ed Wood was originally trying to make it. He wasn't trying to make it funny. He was trying to make a scary movie, I guess. So I guess they're trying to do that. And Conrad Brooks, who I think is the last survivor of the original Plan 9, is in it, and I'm in it playing the role that Conrad Brooks played in the original. So that's going to be interesting, playing that role next to the real guy. So I don't know.
That definitely would be exciting. Now, one last thing is that in your nerd character, you've actually, you've become notorious even for either creating new words or at least new combinations of profanities and curse words.
It sucking fucks, it fucking sucks.
Buffalo diarrhea, fuck farts.
This thing is total fucking garbage. Man, it's just a bunch of fuck. It's a pile of cunt.
Care to name off some of your particular favorites?
I don't know. I mean, like, this shitload of fuck was like one of the first ones that people like latched onto, and then fuck rats, fuck farts, fuck nugget, fuck nut, different combo words of fuck. And I mean, at this point, after like 90 something episodes, I feel like the vocabulary is running out. Like, there's not a whole lot left to say. So I feel like I've kind of already established that, and now every kind of curse that's possible exists. But it was just one sort of seasoning to the video. So the main thing is like the critique of the game and everything. So even though I'm not doing as many curse words now, I'm still doing the games, doing what counts.
Definitely. Actually, that reminds me of the Godzilla review that you did.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to dig in for a little inside info here. At the end, you made up a brand new curse word, or so you say.
These fucking games are... Oh yeah, it's that bad.
Yeah.
What did you actually say in that line? What did you bleep out? That it was so bad you had to bleep it out.
I'll tell you. 'Cause I think I might post the unedited thing at some point, just like the clip. But I was like, this game is skunt. And it sounded like some dirty word to me. And I looked it up and like to see if anybody else came up with it, and it was there. Somebody had it. It was like, I forget what it was like something like a skank and a cunt or something together. So, there's another example of you try to come up with a new word and it's almost not possible because somebody's come up with the same thing.
Originality is definitely a struggle these days. I mean, it's hard to stand out from the crowd, but you've definitely done a great job with that. And I guess we better wrap this up. I got one last question for you. What can we expect from James Rolfe as we head towards the future?
A big movie, and I'm not kidding.
Ooh, this should definitely be exciting. Anything else we can expect from you? Like when any new nerd episodes coming around the corner? Anything big coming on that?
Same like routine probably, but some good stuff. The next nerd video is very different, so I would say that would be a pretty good one.
I'll definitely be looking forward to that. Well, James, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thanks a lot.
And now, it is my extreme honor to induct you, James Rolfe, into the Internet Hall of Fame.
Cowabunga. Cow a fucking piece of dog shit.
Well, thank you. That's cool.
Definitely. All right, well, that's all for today's episode. Tune in next time as we induct a new member into the Internet Hall of Fame. On the Shades. And we'll see you next time. Rock on!
Nintendo nerd. He's the angry Atari Sega nerd.